What if I told you the real reason many senior men stop chasing women has nothing to do with bitterness, heartbreak, or giving up on love? What if the truth is far deeper, quieter, and something most people never notice until it's too late? Because all around the world, countless men over 50, 60, and even 70 are slowly stepping back from modern relationships. Not because they are incapable of love, not because they are lonely, but because age has given them something younger men rarely possess: clarity. And once a man reaches that level of clarity, everything changes. If you are a man over 50, what I'm about to say may feel uncomfortably familiar, almost as if someone finally understands the thoughts you've kept silent for years. For most senior men, this shift does not happen overnight. It is not caused by one breakup or one bad relationship. It happens slowly through decades of experience, disappointment, sacrifice, observation, and emotional exhaustion. As men grow older, they begin to see patterns they ignored in their youth. They notice behaviors that once seemed harmless, but now feel draining. They begin to understand which relationships bring peace into their life and which ones quietly destroy it. And senior men rarely announce this transformation publicly. They do not post emotional speeches online. They do not complain loudly. Instead, they simply withdraw, quietly. If someone asks, they give polite answers. I'm just focusing on myself. I enjoy my peace. I'm not looking for anything serious. But beneath those simple words is a truth most people never fully understand. Many older men have reached a point where their emotional energy feels too valuable to waste, their peace too important to risk, and their remaining years too precious to spend in unnecessary conflict. One of the biggest reasons senior men stop caring about the wrong women is because they finally discover how peaceful life can be without emotional chaos. When men are young, they often believe love requires struggle. They tolerate disrespect, inconsistency, mood swings, manipulation, and endless emotional games because they think that is normal. But age changes perspective. A 25-year-old man may chase excitement. A 40-year-old man may seek stability. But a 60-year-old man? He wants peace. Peace becomes more attractive than passion. Calmness becomes more valuable than chemistry. And emotional stability becomes more important than physical beauty. At some point, many senior men realize something shocking. The absence of drama feels better than the presence of unstable love. And once a man experiences true peace, he becomes extremely protective of it. Another reason older men emotionally disconnect is because they finally stop seeking validation from women. When men are younger, many spend years trying to prove themselves, prove they are successful enough, attractive enough, strong enough, worthy enough. They chase approval without even realizing it. But after decades of working, sacrificing, providing, and surviving hardships, many senior men no longer feel the need to perform for acceptance. They no longer measure their value based on female attention. This changes everything. For the first time in their lives, they begin prioritizing themselves. And many women never expect this shift because society often assumes men will always chase, always pursue, always come back. But senior men operate differently. When they feel emotionally drained, underappreciated, or disrespected, they do not argue endlessly. They simply detach, quietly, permanently. Many older men also begin to feel something they rarely talk about openly. Not unloved, unseen. For years, they may have played the role of provider, protector, problem solver, and emotional support system. They carried responsibilities silently while receiving very little emotional understanding in return. Their sacrifices became expected. Their loyalty became overlooked. Their effort became invisible. And eventually, exhaustion replaces desire. Not hatred, not bitterness, just exhaustion. This is why many senior men stop chasing relationships that feel one-sided. They have learned the difference between companionship and emotional burden. A younger man may tolerate chaos because he fears loneliness. An older man has usually lived long enough to discover that loneliness is often far more peaceful than constant emotional stress. That realization changes him forever. Another truth many women misunderstand is this: senior men do not stop loving deeply. They simply become far more selective about who receives their energy. Older men value respect more than attraction. If a woman brings constant criticism, entitlement, manipulation, or emotional confusion into his life, he disconnects internally almost immediately. He may remain polite. He may remain kind, but emotionally, he steps away. Because at this stage of life, peace is no longer negotiable. Many senior men also look at modern dating and feel disconnected from it entirely. They see relationships becoming transactional, emotionally complicated, and heavily imbalanced. They notice that many men are still expected to lead, provide, initiate, plan, protect, and constantly prove themselves while receiving little appreciation in return. And older men are no longer willing to carry that burden simply for companionship. They have already spent decades carrying responsibilities. Now they want simplicity. A senior man does not want constant tests. He does not want emotional games. He does not want to feel like he must earn basic respect. He wants calmness, honesty, softness, mutual effort. And if those qualities are absent, he no longer feels motivated to pursue anything further. Another major shift happens when older men realize they do not actually need a relationship to feel complete. This may be one of the biggest psychological differences between younger and older men. Younger men often fear being alone. Senior men often learn to enjoy it. They build routines. They discover hobbies. They travel alone. They read, reflect, exercise, pray, cook, and enjoy the silence of their own company. Eventually, solitude stops feeling lonely and starts feeling freeing. And once a man becomes comfortable alone, his standards rise dramatically. He no longer invites people into his life simply to avoid emptiness. He only allows relationships that genuinely improve his peace. This is why many senior men walk away so easily from unhealthy dynamics. Not because they cannot find another woman, but because they no longer fear solitude. In fact, many older men begin protecting their solitude like a luxury. There is also a deeper emotional truth behind all of this. By the time a man reaches 50, 60, or 70, he has usually experienced loss. He has lost friends, family members, relationships, years of his life, dreams that never happened. These experiences force him to think differently. He begins realizing time is limited. And when a man truly understands that his remaining years are finite, he becomes unwilling to waste them on stress, drama, or emotionally draining relationships. He starts choosing peace over obligation, freedom over pressure, calmness over conflict. This is why many senior men appear emotionally detached. But the reality is deeper than that. They are not emotionally dead. They are emotionally disciplined. They have learned through pain that protecting their mental peace is necessary. Another powerful reason senior men stop caring about the wrong women is because they finally learn self-respect. For decades, many men ignored their own emotional needs. They sacrificed quietly while pretending everything was fine. But age teaches boundaries. Older men begin saying no. They stop over-explaining themselves. They stop chasing people who show little effort. They stop tolerating disrespect simply to avoid being alone. And the moment a man fully values himself, everything changes. He no longer begs for love. He no longer competes for attention. He no longer sacrifices his peace to keep someone else comfortable. This is not bitterness. It is wisdom. But perhaps the biggest misunderstanding of all is this: senior men do not stop caring about women completely. They stop caring about toxic relationships. They stop caring about manipulation, entitlement, emotional chaos, constant criticism, and one-sided effort. What they still desire is genuine connection, a woman who brings calmness instead of confusion, respect instead of control, appreciation instead of demands, peace instead of pressure. Because deep down, most senior men still value companionship. They still value love, but only if it feels emotionally safe. And if it does not, they are perfectly willing to walk away and protect the peaceful life they spent decades building. In the end, Senior men are not cold. They are not heartless. They are not incapable of love. They are simply wiser. They understand their value now. They understand their limits. And most importantly, they understand that peace is priceless, so they no longer chase anything that threatens it. And once a man reaches that stage of life, he does not argue, beg, or try to convince anyone to stay. He simply moves forward, peacefully, with or without someone beside him.